But let's first hear from a customer who has optimized software delivery through lightweight, adaptive governance. A great example of the quid pro quo that we've been discussing. I'd like to introduce Amir Gomroki, Vice President R&D Operations, IP and Broadband, Ericsson. Let's first see a video.
More than 40% of the world's mobile traffic passes through Ericsson's 1,000-plus global networks across more than 180 countries. Ericsson's IP and Broadband Development Unit, 6,000 practitioners across 16 worldwide design centers, is moving aggressively to improve its business agility through an agile transformation and smarter development analytics.
During the last 2 years, we have improved our agility from 24 hours build time to 1 hour's build, and from 2 weeks build cycles to 2 hours build cycles. At the same time, our customer service backlog has decreased by 50%, and response time to our client interactions has improved by 15%.
Results like these require more than changing tool sets, they require changing mindsets.
Where good governance was perceived, the practitioners felt choked by repetitive manual reports. Where practitioners' agility and morale was high, the management felt out of control because of the dynamically changing baselines.
With all this dynamic change, Ericsson needed real-time process instrumentation with automated reporting. They built a set of visual dashboards that benefited both practitioners and managers.
We had to reduce the practitioner's time spent in overhead activities such as matrix collection, progress reporting, and reworks. We implemented smarter governance by automating real-time measures of productivity and quality directly from engineering artifacts.
They improved transparency, removed silos, and improved collaboration.
The result was better alignment towards shared organizational goals and more informed decision-making.
Joined with Amir Gomroki and KRISTOF, who has joined us for the conversation. Amir, that was a great story, and in putting the background report together, a couple of questions came up. KRISTOF, feel free to chime in as we go along here. But first, it's clear that there's some natural tension between the Dilberts and the pointy-haired managers of this world. Just by nature, don't practitioners usually hate being measured? So my question is, how did you manage to get practitioners to embrace measurement at Ericsson?
Number one, I would say that Dilbert and practitioners and managers have got a special relationship, and there's no breaking that. Second, I would say that practitioner morale has seen a significant improvement for 3 key reasons. Number one, practitioners have spent less time in overhead work for meetings, for progress reporting, and spent more time in analysis, design, test, code, and innovation, the work they love. Second, dashboards have created transparency and a sense of stronger engineering community, and enable practitioners to spread best practices across the organization. And finally, I would say that more effective steering from managers has enabled practitioners to find and fix problems earlier in product life cycle, and thereby eliminate a more downstream scrap and rework.
Yeah, that's my experience as well. Practitioners also want to be in control, and if they have the information they need, they are in better control. They aren't being jerked around by discussions about facts that nobody can verify.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, now I'm going to put on my pointy-head hat. You talked about transparency and how your measurement approach lays everything bare much earlier. So my question, aren't you worried that stakeholders might pull funding, or the project manager might be fired in a more honest exposure rather, of project issues?
I would say that firing doesn't solve the problem. You know, I'm sure others have tried. And if I look at our organization, our business outcomes reflect improved effectiveness of management, steering, and decision making. More meaningful and fresh data and analytics are available transparently at any time, accessible from anywhere by any device. Second, consistent use of dashboards across the organization has enabled sharing and provided more relevance to the pattern of failure and success. And finally, and more importantly, more honest measurement instills more trust among practitioners, project managers, and executives. And this is a key differentiator and a cultural change that takes a long time to settle in, but is imperative to the success of the organization. And it goes back to what you indicated a few minutes, KRISTOF, that it is trust that you build upon. And if you look at trust, it is the foundation of the high-performing organization.
Yes, and the measurements actually allow you to demonstrate your competency to manage the uncertainty that we will have to live with.
Absolutely.
Very good. Well, there seems to be a lot of yin and yang between what KRISTOF calls practitioners and stakeholders and what I call the geeks in the suits. But it sounds like we're talking about a relationship where both parties have to give a little.
Yes, but everyone also gets more of what they want. That's the quid pro quo,
Okay.
Absolutely. It's
which
a
you
win-win
demonstrated, Amir.
I like that. Thank you, Amir.
situation. Absolutely. Thank you.
KRISTOF, I have a final question for you. In the world you described earlier, the globalized, consumerized, increasingly social and complex, isn't the development space we're talking about only one part of a much bigger picture?
Well, it definitely is, and Robert actually indicated this already, and I'm going to talk about how we manage the extended life cycle with a larger number of stakeholders and a broader value or supply chain.
Great, over to you. Thank you.
Very good. Absolutely. Thank you.